Wait. Can you wait? Good evening. Welcome to Mi Gente On Air. Thank you for joining us tonight. Come on into the room. We've got a great show tonight with one of the great bands in Michigan here, Tejano Sound Band, some of their members. And I want to give you the opportunity to talk with them, ask them questions, and maybe make any comments that you would like them to hear or see. That way we can get to know the band a little bit better. They will be performing March 19th in Saginaw at the Unión Cívica Mexicana for the St. Patty's Day dance. So I want to welcome everybody to Mi Gente On Air tonight as we live stream from the WSGW studios, and we will be heard on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. on 100.5 FM and 790 AM. So welcome, bienvenidos. Come on in. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Mi Gente On Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Larry Rodarte.
Good evening, bienvenidos. Welcome to Mi Gente On Air, where we try to promote positive images of Latinos in our community. And did you know Saginaw is known as a Tejano area, as is Flint, as is Lansing? We love our Tejano music here. And many of my live stream listeners here, they would agree to that. And many Latinos who reside here are third and fourth generation descending from parents who came up the migratory trails to work the fields. And they came from Tejas and they stayed working in the plants. Thus, they brought their love for the music Tejano Conjunto. We have many Michigan-based bands who play this music at many of the bailes for weddings, quinceañeras, fiestas. And one of the great bands is Tejano Sound Band of Lansing, led by the accordion extraordinaire, Johnny Vasquez. And you hear them in the background there. They will be performing in Saginaw at the Unión Cívica Mexicana for a St. Patty's Day dance on March 19th. And today, on Mi Gente On Air, I have Johnny Vasquez and one of their lead singers of the band, Amanda Cena. Hello, Tejano Sound Band. Welcome to Mi Gente On Air.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. How you guys doing, Larry?
I'm doing well. How are you in Lansing, Johnny?
We're doing good. Just here at the house, just waking up from last night. I sleep all day and I'm up all night.
Oh,
no,
you're
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, you guys, times are changing for us here. We're coming out of the pandemic, and you probably got a lot of requests, and your schedule is booking up. Tell us a little bit about that and how you survived these last, 2 years during the pandemic.
Well, as far as me, I I'm Johnny Vasquez, and hello to everyone out there listening. But no, it was hard. It was really hard because well, music is in our blood, and we do this constantly on weekend outs, and once in a while we have a couple weeks off, but we enjoy it with the family. But it was hard. It was a tough thing. Something tough to go through. And matter of fact, I retired from playing music, and I was just frustrated with the whole pandemic thing, and I don't know. And then when the things started getting better, I changed my mind. I says I'm not going to retire. I'm not ready to retire, and I see things are picking up, and I announced that I wasn't going to retire after all.
All right. Well, we're so happy
Mhm.
you are not retiring. Amanda, how was it for you?
For me, I had a little bit of a different outlook because I had just started in March of 2019. So when the pandemic hit, I was like, I just started and finally got my, foot in the door with a really good band, a professional band, one that's respected. And I was like, well, we're just going to roll with it. Yeah. Then I think our last gig that year in 2020 was around March. And then everything just started shutting down. So it was a little difficult. And then I'm still working. I work for a financial institution, and I'm working remotely from home. So I do like that part of it.
Yeah, well, I remember at the Unión Cívica Mexicana for the Valentine's dance in February. I think it was like February 20th, 2020. So you were
Mhm.
one of the last gigs that you guys had before the shutdown, and it was a remarkable dance. I mean, the place was packed and the crowd was moving. You couldn't even dance that fast because there were so many people on the dance floor. And you
Yeah,
guys, do you remember that night?
I
Oh
do.
my gosh, I do, Larry. It's something. It's one of those dances that you could say I could go back to it, and just I still feel like it was yesterday, and that's how much I remember that. That was awesome, and we get real good support from the Saginaw people and surrounding areas. I should say, but I have that, and it's one of my memorables.
Yeah, yeah, it sure was that night. And, we had no idea what we were coming into in the following month. Within 3 weeks, I believe, is when the shutdown happened.
Yeah.
And, I always say that I just thought it was going to be a month or two, and we're here 2 years later, and we're now just kind of coming back from the pandemic. So we really, what we took for granted, and having those dances and having people come and, it really makes you appreciate it now so much more, after 2 years of, although we did have a few dances and you did perform at the Civica since then, but I think, without the fear of attending a dance, I think the crowd will be much better for this St. Patty's Day dance. So, Johnny, I want to talk with you a little bit about your history. You're a great musician and you have mastered the accordion and you've played for so many years. Can you tell my listeners how you got started in the music? And you got to remember, although this show is for Latinos, we have a greater audience with the non-Latinos who are listening at 8 p.m. on Sundays. So tell them who Johnny Vasquez is.
Well, I started back in 1956. I started playing with my brothers, Los Hermanos Vasquez, and all my older brothers. They all finally start getting tired of playing, and they started stepping down. So even my brother Richard, that's playing with me now, he stopped playing for about 20 years, and then I moved on, and I started playing with Juve El Daco, and I can't remember what he had different band names, so I went with Juve for about I'd say probably good 10, 15 years with Juve. That was for a while, and then from there on, I joined Corporación, and I was with them for about 10, 12 years, and then me and Richard told me he wanted to come back and start playing again, and actually he was just helping out bands here and there, and I told him, if you're really serious, we could start our own band again, me and you, and that's how we came out with Tejano Sound Band, and I was with them for but I forgot. I played with a Latin sound. It was an orquesta. It had horns in there, and the Gonzalez and Nieves Gonzalez, Menu de la Garza, the late Nieves Gonzalez, the late Nieves de la Garza, the late uh, este I can't think of his name right now, but uh, finally the band we stopped playing, and then that's when I got in with other bands, and I was just jamming, and finally my brother Richard, we both decided to start Tejano Sound Band, and I gave it the name, and we got our money together, and we joined with a brother-in-law of mine, Frank Medellin, the late Frank Medellin. He passed on a car accident, and then we stayed with the band, and we still continue until today. It's been about 25 years now that we've been together, me and my brother Richard. And so I played since I was, and I never stopped, Larry. I've never stopped playing until the pandemic stopped me, and then that's when I spent a lot of time. That whole year I spent it with my family, with my grandkids, and I think that was one of the reasons that I wanted to retire. I had so much fun with them that I've never had before, because I was always busy. I didn't have time for. I miss a lot of the family's quinceaneras, birthday parties, my grandkids, and I during that time of the pandemic, I realized what I had missed, and they were real happy. And then I disappointed them. I told them, "Guess what, Grandpa's not ready to retire yet." And no, they were pretty good about it, because they know Grandpa loves music, and they come to my house, and they come back here, and they like to sing and play, and so we we continue with our music here at the house, and it's but that's how long I've been playing. So you figure from 1956 to 2000 what 22. That's a lot of years.
That's a good 65 years as playing as a
Yeah.
musician. I want my listeners to understand, although, like I said, we target this for the Latino community, and most will know what Tejano music is, but I want to just read something here as a definition for Tejano music. It's also known as Tex-Mex music, is a popular music style fusing Mexican and U.S. influences. Typically, Tejano combines Mexican Spanish vocal styles with dance rhythms from Czechoslovakia and German genres, particularly polkas and waltzes. Tejano music is traditionally played by small groups featuring accordion and guitar or bajo sexto. Its evolution began in northern Mexico in a variation known as norteño. So that's the definition of what Tejano music is, and it is the type of music that is really loved here in the Saginaw area, in Lansing and Flint. It's a little different in the Detroit markets and the Grand Rapids markets that has more of an immigrant community that has been here maybe one or two generations. With the Saginaw, Flint, Lansing group, we're more third, fourth generations. We've been here a little while, and our parents and grandparents came up from Texas and Mexico, and we love the Tex-Mex sound and the Tex-Mex food. It's a little different as well from the Mexican food. So, that's kind of a little bit more better understanding for those who are listening, that will be listening on the radio on this. But I want to also ask you, Amanda, you said you just started in 2019, but you've been a vocalist for a long time. Can you tell us what your trajectory of your musical history has been?
Sure. So I learned how to sing. My mother taught my sister and I how to harmonize at about the age of 14. And my dad, when he heard us, he was like, at the time when he was alive, he was like, you guys need to do something with that. And I just thought, oh no, Daddy, I can't, get up in front of people, I can't. So I left it alone until I moved to San Antonio. I was in my mid-20s, and someone had heard me singing, and I worked at a restaurant, and they were like, Amanda, you should do something with that. I was like, yeah. Well, lo and behold, Oscar G. y Grupo Sol came into that restaurant, and I waited on them. I got to talking with them, and then the keyboard player, his name was Martin. I cannot remember his last name. He took me to his studio, and I recorded one of Mas's songs called Vuelvo.
Wow.
Was it
And
was it Martin Garcia?
maybe he was a
Mhm.
really tall
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
That is Martin Garcia. Yeah.
okay, then yes,
Mhm.
okay, it was him. So yeah, and then I ended up coming back home, and I had the cassette tape, and someone introduced me to Chayo Cervantes that used to do Ondas en Español at MSU on WKAR studios or radio, and he started playing it. And he just, was trying to get, push and promote, and, just like, Amanda, no, don't stop. And I started just singing, on my own, and grabbing my own music and just singing on the mic, and nothing really happened until early 2000s. I joined a group called Evolucion with Mike Medina here in Lansing, and we played for about 2 years. And yeah, and then Johnny contacted me in the summer of 2019 and said, "Hey, Amanda, we're looking for a female singer. We need someone at a festival in Saginaw." I think, was that what festival was that, Johnny? It was
Friday,
downtown,
Friday,
outside.
Friday
Friday
Night
Night
Live.
Live.
Yes, yes. And from there it started. That I got my foot in the door. Johnny told me he got really good feedback from the people there in Saginaw, and then he asked me to join one more time. And there was a dance in Holland that the Tejano Sound Band had, and he spoke with the guys and asked them what did they think, and everyone agreed. And I've been with them ever since.
And Saginaw has played a part in your evolution as the singer in Tejano Sound Band. That's great. That's great to hear. Well, we have had several dances at the Civica where Tejano Sound Band was the featured band, and we've always had a great response. And whether it was at Friday Night Live in downtown Saginaw, or whether it was at the Civica or any of the other places, I know you always get a great response from the Saginaw crowd. Can you tell me, Johnny, first, how does that feel? How does that make you feel? Say, and is there a difference in the crowd of Saginaw compared to other places that you play?
Well, no, I don't say there's a difference. It's just the people. Some people here, like here in Lansing, we start playing. Uh, let's say we start playing at 8 o'clock. It takes them a little while to get them to get on the floor to start dancing. And
Hmm.
I've noticed in Saginaw, even we're getting a sound check, people are get up and dance, and we're not even dressed yet. And there's a difference there that we have the same amount of people here in Lansing and over there, except that people here just seem like they're checking you out first before they get started or something. But in Saginaw, we've always had the luck that right off the bat, people start dancing, and wow, that just makes you get the feeling. Wow, they like the music, and it's just the only thing that makes your night go real fast. And we can continue to about 4 or 5 in the morning. The way it feels, you get the what feedback from the people, and just it's just awesome. It's an awesome feeling.
And how does that make you feel, Amanda? Because I mean, you're up there and you're there with Lupe Moreno, the other lead singer for Tejano Sound Band. How does it make you feel to see such a response? Because it is a big response. Whenever I've seen you guys play in Saginaw at our dances, it's a big response.
Yeah, I have to agree with Johnny saying, we haven't been ready and doing a quick sound check, and people are already hitting the dance floor. But this last dance that we had in February at the VFW here in Lansing, is at the VFW 701. I think maybe the word got out because people started coming in at 7 o'clock, grabbing their tables and chairs, and it was a packed house. Yeah. So
Mhm.
it was a great turnout. But no, it's a really great feeling. It humbles you. It just makes you feel really good that people appreciate, what we're doing up there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that also. There's you know, Johnny mentioned some great bands that he's played with in his history as a musician. Juve Aldaco is a legend, still with us. I saw a recent performance. You guys had him up on the stage, and Juve's got to be close to 90. And he's got such a you know, a great legacy left to his sons with Danny Aldaco and Junior Aldaco and his band. And then you mentioned Cooperacion, and Cooperacion is always a favorite in Saginaw as well. You got a lot of good bands, musicians coming out of Lansing. You've got some great ones here in Saginaw as well. And I think that's to be, you know, there's something really to be said about Michigan Tejano bands. And I think when what I've seen, you know, sometimes when we have had Texas bands who come up to the area or whatever, you know, and we have the warm up band, a band from Michigan, they're as good musician, their musicianship is as good as any band from Texas. And I'm saying that from experience.
Thank
What
you,
do
Larry.
you
And that is so true. That is so true. Coming from a musician myself, like all these years, and I mean, we have great musicians here in Michigan, or in the Midwest, I should say. 'Cause see, there's good musicians in Chicago in the Midwest, and Ohio, you know, Indiana. There's a lot of musicians, Tejano musicians, that are awesome. I mean, and they're as great. They're good as the bands from Texas. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And Amanda, I want to ask you, you know, I've heard you sing R&B up there on the stage. It's not just Tejano. And I mean, you sound really, you know, like you've been singing R&B for a long time. I mean, it sounds really good. Tell me a little bit about that and what your influences are. And will we be hearing any more of that in the coming performances?
Yes, I believe so. I do also like to sing a little bit of country, and they're my influences as far as country goes are like Leanne Womack. But really with the R&B, when I started singing that, I'm gonna blame Danny Aldaco. He's the one that pushed me because I kept feeling like I don't know Danny, and he was like, no, just do it, you know, just go with it. And so he was the one that really pushed me to sing that because I'm not really comfortable singing R&B songs. I'm more of a country. I can sing rock. I can sing some, you know, blues, things like that, and of course the Hano mariachi. A little bit of salsa merengue. So my biggest influences are like Celia Cruz. Um, I don't know if you ever remember hearing a lady that my mom introduced me to. Her name was Chelo, and she sang a lot of boleros and rancheras. Yeah, so I mean, I grew up listening to all kinds of different genres and music. Doris Day, Etta James. So I have a
Etta
lot.
James, the great Etta James. You know what?
Oh yeah.
I was going to mention that because at the last performance at the Civica, I remember hearing the band does a cover of Tennessee Whiskey, and
Hmm.
it's always such a good cover the way that they sing it, and then all of a sudden it merged into Etta James's "I'd Rather Go Blind," and I was
Yeah.
shocked. I was like, "Oh no, she isn't. She's singing my song because I just love Etta James. She's one of my
Me
all-time
too.
favorite singers."
Yes.
What a
Me
voice, what
too.
a legend she was. But if you do more of that, I'm going to invite you more to Saginaw.
Okay, I'll be sure to do that then.
And I'm sure there's everybody saying, no, we want Tejano. We want Tejano. But you know, it's such a joy to always hear you guys when you're performing, because when as somebody who's watching you from, you know, I'm watching you a lot of times and hearing you from the kitchen, of course. But I go up there and I take my phone and I get closer, and I know you guys see me, you know, that I'm filming and all. But it's such a joy to see the reaction of the people, and then seeing your reactions, your facial reactions. You're smiling, you're enjoying it, you're loving playing
Right.
the house music for the Saginaw crowd. And I think that really makes a huge difference for any performers, that they love what they do and that they're getting a great response. So kudos to Tejano Sound Band, because you guys are always rocking it. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's awesome feeling, Larry. I want to thank you and the whole staff at the Civica for inviting us back. We were there for New Year's too, and it was just a great feeling. Like I just thank the people from Saginaw that they don't let us down. You know, they'll come out and support. I know I have a lot of friends in Saginaw, and actually we just picked up a new drummer. We got my drummer got sick and he couldn't play he couldn't play no more, and so he said that he was stepping down. So I picked up David Garcia from Bay City, and David is he's doing one heck of a job. And actually, we're recording right now, and he's the one that's doing the drums on the CD. So, like I said, he comes from a big family musicians, the Garcia brothers. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
our Garcia brothers from Michigan.
yeah, that's why I've seen him hanging around more at the Civica when you guys perform. I didn't know that. That's great news. Somebody from the Great Lakes Bay region is part of Tejano Sound Band, so that gives it a whole another flair. And you've got another different musician as well there, right? That's part of your band?
Let me see who. No, actually, we got right now we got Rolando Revilla from Motivo, and he's been doing because Danny stepped down from the band, and he just doing recording. I guess that's what he wanted to do. He don't want to travel too much anymore, and so but that's what he told me. He's going to step down and just think about recording music for other people and other bands or whatever. And so I got Rolando Revilla doing a lot of our keyboard stuff. Plus, he still got his band too, but he's not playing that much. So he says he would help us as much as we can. He can. So yeah, that's in a way, I'm still looking for a keyboard player, a steady one. I don't like to how do I say? I don't like to go break up a band just to get a guy that I want somebody that's that's open to play. I don't. I've had a lot of bands. I've had other keyboards calling to they want to join, but they're in a band. I said, no, I don't want that. I don't.
Well, we're gonna come back from commercial real quick. We gotta go take a break, Johnny. So we'll be back with the great Johnny Vasquez and Amanda Cena with the Tejano Sound Band.
Okay.
Okay, that's the first half of Mi Gente on Air with the Tejano Sound Band, and we do have some people in the chat room. Jose Pesanya, he says, hello, Johnny. Hello, Amanda. And somebody from
Hi, Joe.
And we have Esmeralda Meli Rodriguez. I believe she's from the western part of the state. She's got two big hearts for you guys. I want to invite the listening audience to come on in, chat with Johnny and Amanda if you got any questions. I only see the two comments so far, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something, Chandler. Or
no, everybody's just really quiet listening to all the stories tonight, but they got to remember they can ask questions. They can get some answers tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to say hi to Joe, Larry, Joe Pisania. Me and Joe played for many years together, and as of right now, I know Joe's playing with a band from Adrian. They're called Gabriel Burciaga and the Bad Boys. He's a drummer, but he lives here in Lansing. One great guy and a great drummer.
Right, we've had Gabriel Burciaga and his band, and they're looking to also perform in Saginaw when we kind of start deciding on our dates, whether we're going to have an Easter dance, whether we're going to have any other dances in the coming months. As long as it's safe and we're kind of outside of the pandemic, then yes, we will continue to have the signature events that the Civica has, and I'm hoping that that's the way it will be. Just a reminder to let everybody know the Cinco de Mayo celebration is May 7th. We're going forward in Saginaw with the return of the Cinco de Mayo, the 43rd annual. 43 years, can you believe that? And we did have a smaller celebration last year at the Civica, but it wasn't the full-blown, parade and fiesta that we have at Huntington Event Park. And also, we do have a dance that will be happening that night as well. And the information for that will be coming out this week. So look for the poster for Cinco de Mayo, the 43rd annual. And the theme this year is In Memory, in memoria, for all those who have passed during the pandemic in the last 2 years. So we're going to go back live with Tejano Sound in just a moment as we continue on with Mi Gente On Air, the taping of Mi Gente On Air on the live stream. We'll be right back.
All right.
You're listening to Mi Gente On Air on WSGW.
Hello. Welcome back to Mi Gente On Air. I am your host, Larry Rodarte, and we have some great guests tonight. We have Tejano Sound Band from Lansing, Michigan, who has their roots in the Tejano Conjunto genre. And we have Johnny Vasquez, the great accordion. He's a legend, been playing since 1956. And Amanda Cena, who's been with the band since 2019. My question next for you guys is, what's next for Tejano Sound Band as we head out of this pandemic? What's your plan for 2022?
Well, right now, if you go to my Facebook profile, you go in there and you can see my schedule. We have a real busy summer, and crossing my fingers that this pandemic starts slowing down. Like it's going down, I think, but we need to get it all the way down where we don't have to wear masks or anything anymore. But our schedule is awesome. I mean, I'm not bragging, but we're blessed this year with many bookings we got.
Yeah. You're bragging, Johnny. You're so many years ago in 1997, I believe it was the beginning of when Mi Gente magazine started in 1995. And we had the first annual Tejano Showcase band, Johnny. Do you remember that? And I remember inviting you guys and we had 5 different bands. We had Nicolina and the Bad Boys, which is Gabriel Bruciaga's sister.
Right.
And they were playing in a number of different other bands. And it wasn't Tejano Sound, was it? At that time, was that the name of the band?
Yeah, it's always been Tejano Sound Band.
I always bring this up to Johnny because, sometimes, it's difficult when you're dealing as a promoter with different bands and you have, 4 or 5 bands that are playing at an event and they kind of argue about, well, who's going to play first, who's going to play last.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember that time? I was having a difficult time, and Johnny Vasquez here stood up and said, "Hey, Larry, we'll go first." And I was so appreciative of that, Johnny, because I was in a pickle, and you guys came through, and it was a great performance. And I don't even think the last band got to play that evening because we had so much going on, and just so little. But so thank you for that, and that just kind of shows the character of Johnny Vasquez, and we've been friends ever since. I mean, it's been 20 years.
Larry, but I was using my brain. I didn't want to perform at all, so I go first. I knew I was going to get on.
Yeah, yeah. So Amanda, tell me, you're a singer, a female singer, in what is typically a male-dominated genre, Tejano music. And Selena Quintanilla, she broke down the barriers, and they always say that about her. She was a female singer in a male dominated genre. How has it been for you as a Michigan native, Michigan girl who is performing with a all male band?
It's great. They give me, and not just this band, but other musicians that I've also worked with, they give me the respect and just compliment me on a job well done. They're like, Amanda, don't stop. Keep doing, and they'll throw different songs at me. Johnny, Richard, Lupe, they'll throw different songs like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And but if I think, after she had passed away, I felt like it changed a little. And then when Mas broke up, it changed. But well, at least in Texas it did, because at that time I was living in Texas. And then when I came back home, we just kept going. The Midwest kept going with, playing, um, you know, Tejano music. And even to this day, I've gone to dances over in Texas and San Antonio and Arlington, Dallas. They don't really dance that much. Like at the smaller clubs, they will, but at the larger clubs, you see a lot of people just crowding the stage, and it's like no one's gonna dance. But yeah, I think with the band that I'm in, yeah, they just give me, and then too they respect songs that I choose, that I know that I feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about Lupe Moreno, who is also the one of the lead singers with you there, and you guys harmonize so great together all the time. And
Thank
when
you.
when you guys do Cariño and that little segments of those old standards, I just love that. I mean, it evokes so much beautiful memories in my lifetime, when I hear that. And of course, I'm over there in the kitchen, doing those patitos for people when I want to be up there closer to the stage. But tell me a little bit about Lupe, what you guys can share about Lupe.
Well,
He's a great vocalist. He can, pretty much do anything. I love the way he sings country. I just sent a country song to the guys earlier that was an original from the 70s that was made totally different, and he liked it. So he has an open mind. He won't say no, or he just has an open mind. He's a great artist. He's a humble person. Yeah.
Let's listen to a little bit of his vocals here on one of your recordings. What is it, Johnny? Introduce it to us.
Ben Amor. That's would be our latest. That was our latest single that we released, and it was recorded at with Danny Aldaco produced this song, and it's an awesome song, and Lupe sings it good, and you can play it and let it speak for itself.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's let the audience hear that. A little bit of Tejano Sound Band from Lansing, Michigan, featuring Lupe Moreno. My producer cut you off there. I want to hear Lupe's voice, but we only can play on 30-second segments, and that's part
okay.
of it. So if you really want to hear Lupe sing that song, you're going to have to come to the Union Civica March 19th, and you're going to have to hear the Tejano Sound Band for the St.
There you
Patrick's
go.
Day. Yeah, and I've got some people on here, I think, that are friends of yours, and one of them is Val Blanco. She says, hello, Mr. V and mi amiga Amanda Cena. She says, Amanda, what Tejano artist would you love to have a chance to sing with today?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably Elida Reina. I would love to sing with her.
The great Elida Reina. Yes.
Yes.
She's awesome. She
is.
She has been doing it a long time as well, and she keeps every year, they got new albums, new sounds, new ways that they present themselves, and it's just always, such a nice memory just to remember her when she did Luna Llena, and then today to see her still putting out those hits. That's a long time. That's a long time to be playing in the business. And I also got Angela Blanco, who says, hello, Mr. Vasquez. How is your wife?
She's doing good. She's doing good. That's my better half right there. That's my secretary. That's my secretary.
Yeah, she's the one that got Johnny on the live stream today on his phone. We had a little problem, but she was there to help us. And, it's funny because it's always a pleasure to see your wife when she's there. She makes the evening go even smoother and better. And I know that she has become friends with Angela Blanco and Val Blanco and a lot of the ladies from the Union Civica.
Right.
So tell us what her name is and how long you've been married.
We've been married almost 40 years. We'll be here March 12th. We're praying this Saturday here at the VFW Hall here in Lansing, and we'll be celebrating our 40th birthday anniversary.
Anniversary.
Yeah.
And what was her name, Johnny?
My wife's name is Lily Vasquez.
Lily Vasquez. Yes. And Angela also says, Amanda, you do a great Selena mix. And I mean, great. Are you going to add any other female mix? Like maybe an Elida mix of songs?
I've been thinking about it. I have been wanting to do another medley of someone else. Maybe if I do, maybe Jenny Rivera. I would like to do that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Or some country.
Some more Etta James.
Anytime. Say when.
Yeah.
Say when.
Angela also says Mrs. Vasquez, she's referring to Lily, she loves the Civica decorations. And thanks to Val Blanco, who has done the Civica really well with her decorations and her decorative mind. The Civic Eyes, we try to make it look really good for you guys when you're coming in there to play. And
you do. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Really
well,
nice.
What stands out most in your performances, Johnny? You've had such a career for so many years. Like, if somebody were to ask you off the street and said, you've been playing for all these years, what do you remember most? What performance is most memorable?
I think the most that I remember that I also carry in my heart is we backed up Jay Pettis for a weekend. And he was here in Lansing, and then we went. We backed him up in Pontiac, and I think that those 2 days he was here, and he was here at my house, and we had rehearsal downstairs, and he was pretty humble, and Jay was, but we go to Texas, you don't know who we are. I don't know what.
Isn't that something? Well, the great Jay Pettis, he's one of those ones during the Tejano, heyday of Tejano music, and he really put out those hits and is a great performer as well. And Amanda, I can ask you the same question, and I know you haven't had the longevity as Johnny has, but what stands out in your mind as one of the great performances that you've had?
I think just the reaction from the people. It gives me chills, and it sometimes I want to be honest with you, sometimes I've come home and once everything has settled in, I've cried a couple of times just because I appreciate the response of the people.
Yeah, well, if you're a performer like you are, you're able to communicate to people like you're having a dialogue just by your singing. And I keep bringing up that song with Etta James, I'd Rather Go Blind. I mean, to interpret that the way you did that night, I remember, I mean, that just has to have amazing, it must be an amazing feeling for you to be able to share that with the people and your talent.
A lot of those songs, they really are heartfelt. So a lot of people tell me, Amanda, you need to write a book about your life. But so I can feel those songs. I just, that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find out, the feelings, where it's coming from for real with Amanda Cena when she's on the stage.
The funny thing about that, Larry, is that she won't do it all the time. I guess it's when she's feeling it, or I don't know. There's times that she don't sing it. I just because actually what's going on is my brother's doing a guitar solo there, so I don't know if she feels like she's interrupting his solo, but we tell her, that's beautiful right there. I mean, I've never seen nobody else do that. That's so we love it. I mean, when she does it, she puts her feelings into that.
Yeah, well,
Thank you.
she's definitely been a plus, to Tejano Sound Band, and it's just wonderful to always hear. And they're always a favorite in the Saginaw market. For all those that may not be familiar with Tejano Sound Band, they're one of the more highly sought out bands in the Michigan area, and we're going to be having them, as I said, for the St. Patty's Day dance, March 19th at the Union Civica Mexicana on Wadsworth there. And Johnny, I got a question for you. I mentioned that, we are descended from immigrants who migrated north, from Texas and Mexico. And how have towns like Saginaw or Lansing, kept that love for Tejano music, when you've got all these other different genres and, Motown and all that, but how have we, why do you think we have kept that love for Tejano music?
Well, there's a lot of Mexican people here, a lot of Tejanos that migrated to over here to the Midwest, and then because sometimes we even get people from Texas that are here visiting, and they says, "Wow, we hear you guys playing. We still feel like we're back home, San Antonio and the Valley." He says, "You hear your music, and we hear it here, and it's just awesome." He says, they tell us that, and that's an awesome feeling too. That they tell you that you sound like the bands from over there, and but yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great compliment, really. And Johnny, you're not from Lansing originally. Can you tell me where you're from?
I was born in Clarksville, Michigan. I was born here while my dad and my mom were here with they're migrant workers, and I was born here in Michigan. And I have another sister, a little bit older than I am, who was also born here in Michigan, and they travel back and forth to from Texas to Michigan, and I happened to be born here, but we're scattered. My whole family is scattered from here to Texas. We're all
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I got Jose and Margarita Salinas on the chat. She's saying hi, watching from Brownsville, Texas. So I
There she
mean,
is. Yeah.
they're
Hello.
all in Brownsville, and I got Tanisha Gallardo. She says I can't wait to see them on the 19th. And also, there's an appreciation for when you guys go live at your gigs. I think this is directed to Amanda. They're saying thank you for doing that for us, Tejano Sound Band fans.
Aw,
That's
you're welcome.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
Thank
really
you.
nice. And what would you say to somebody who is curious as to where Tejano Sound Band sees themselves, say, in the next 5 years? That's one of the questions from one of the chat responses.
Amanda?
Hopefully to still be playing,
Playing.
Yep.
playing, recording, coming out with different songs. Yeah.
Yeah, we're back in the studio, Larry. Like I said, we're working on a single right now to bring it out as soon as we can, and it'll be out. I say probably within the next month we'll have the single out, and we got it pretty much of it done. And thanks to Rolando Revilla, we're recording at his studio in Toledo, and yeah, I mean, also, I mean, I don't know how. I'll see how our health. Like me, I'm older. I'm a lot older than all these young kids. Like Amanda, she's young, and Lupe Moreno and David and me, and Richard are the daddies of the Tejano Sound Band, and but we love the band. The band we have now, I love them all because we're real tight as far as a band. And we feel like we're family, and that's very important, as far as the band goes.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm out there and I'm filming you guys and I'm filming the dancers on the dance floor, I look at your brother and I think I'm seeing Johnny. I don't have my contacts on or whatever, but you guys look so much alike, you and your brother Richard. So
Yeah.
we want to give him kudos too, because I mean he's been there with you for a long time as
Oh,
well.
of course,
Yeah.
their brother Richard, and he's a little bit older than I am, but he'll as long as he retired too, when I retired, and I came back, he says, I'm coming back too. I said, well, thank you. He's like I said, he's there all the time for me, and I always tell him what's going on with the band and stuff, and he helps me out. Things we need, and we're always, it's just between me and him, and we get stuff that we need to take care of it. Like equipment wise, vehicle and all that. So
Well,
yeah,
he really is at your side all the time, and I know it's really difficult after the performance because you got to pack up all that equipment and everything, and I'm sometimes there waiting with you guys in the wings, waiting for and the band to leave. I think you left at like 3:30 in the morning on New Year's Eve, and I was there too with you, waiting out in the truck, and it's really we really have to give a shout out to the roadies because they do that work that is difficult at times after a performance and everybody's tired, and they are there still with you guys. So kudos to the roadies. I also got Mary Hernandez Silvas who's on here, and she is the lady who usually takes the tickets at the door at the Union Civica. She says you guys sound great, and that was just a simple compliment from Mary Hernandez Silvas and her husband Guadalupe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, we'll be seeing. I'm sure you'll be seeing her on March 19th. And Angela Blanco has another question. She says, "Are there Vasquez grandchildren that will be following in your footsteps, Johnny?"
Well, I hope so. Right now they're learning music, but they want to play music at church, which is good. And as myself, I play at church on Sundays. I'm a Catholic, and I play at Cristo Rey at the 12 o'clock mass. And I play the accordion, and we have other musicians that play there. And send a shout out to all my choir members at Cristo Rey here in Lansing.
Okay, all right. Well, Amanda, if you've got a few words you want to say to the Saginaw crowd or the surrounding the Great Lakes Bay region area to invite them to the dance on March 19th, take it away.
Okay. Come on out, you guys, on March 19th at the Union Civica. The Tejano Sound Band will be there playing your favorites and some new ones. I hope to see many of you guys out there. You guys always bring in a great crowd. Love to see you guys dancing and just having a great time.
All right. That's Amanda Cena from Tejano Sound Band. And we also got Johnny Vasquez here. And there you have it. The great Johnny Vasquez and amazing vocalist from Amanda Cena. They will be performing, like we've said, at the Union Civica Mexicana on March 19th this year, 2022, as we get out of this pandemic. And I want to thank you both for taking the time to be with me here tonight on Mi Gente On Air. And for so many years, Johnny, you have been just the extraordinary accordion that you are. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you from all the Tejano listeners out there in the Michigan area, because you have really done it a long time. Really, you have.
Thank you, Larry, so much. I really appreciate that. And got to remind the people from Saginaw, come out and check us out. Without you guys, we're nobody.
Yeah. Thank you for that. You can purchase your tickets for the dance at Maria's Restaurant and Vargas Tortillas or at the SaginawUnionCivica.com website. And we will have the Comida Mexicana from the Civica Kitchen with us. How do you feel about the patitos? Because I know that in Lansing, they don't call them patitos. Do you even have anything similar from the patitos?
Yes, we do.
I haven't had any that are similar to that.
We do. I have actually Dolores Garcia and her husband Marcos, which is David's daughter-in-law.
They're from Bay City, though. They're not from Lansing. They're Bay City, and they copy us. They copy us at the Civica. No, we will have the Comida Mexicana from the Civica Kitchen, and that means I'm cooking. But thanks again to Johnny Vasquez, Amanda Cena from Tejano Sound Band, And we look forward to the great performance that we're going to have on March 19th, celebrating St. Patty's Day. So thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. And we will see you next week.
Thank
Hasta
you.
luego. Arrivederci. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. That's a wrap, everybody. I'm
All
doing
right.
my little Walter Concrete. Concrete. What's his name?
Walter Cronkite.
Yes. And my producer always says you got to do that to let him know that, you know, it's a wrap, you know, whatever. But I just want to mention to our live stream as well, because we're still going here. Mary Hernandez Silva says, yes, we will be there for the dance that night. And Tejano Sound Band is our favorite group. So
thank you. Awesome.
Mary, you're gonna go far, Mary, you know, with your comments there. Tommy Salazar, who is with Grupo Ilusión, says, great band. Johnny Lily Vasquez is one of the best to do it in the Midwest.
Oh, thank you, Tommy.
Oh, Tommy,
you,
Tommy, something about Tommy, I don't know. But anyway, and then Jose Pistania, he says, that's great to have brothers playing in the same band. And those are some of the last comments that we have, but it was a great show tonight. And I want to thank all of our live stream audience out there who tuned in and contributed and listened to the great Johnny Vasquez and Amanda Cena. And I hope that you will all support the Unión Cívica Mexicana and our dances as we open up to the crowds and to the people again. And hopefully, you know, we'll have a great turnout and have great events coming up, from the Cinco de Mayo celebration to Dia de los Muertos brunch, all the different signature events that we have had through the years. So I want to thank again Johnny Vasquez and Amanda Cena. Thank you for just being supportive of all that we do at the Unión Cívica Mexicana. It's just great to have that relationship with all of you.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, everybody, again. And until next week, like I said, hasta luego, and we'll see you again. Thank you so much.
I'll see you Saturday, Amanda.
Okay.
Adios.
Bye.